Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below. Good evening everybody and Happy New Year and welcome along to Apex Online Racing, the first race of 2021 for Xbox One F1 Season 20. And what a better place to start at to carry on the season, the Temple of Speed in Monza for the Italian Grand Prix, a track where the Ferraris ought to do well, I must say. This was a track where we saw the closest F1 race finish ever in 1971, with Peter Geffen and Monty Peterson being only 10 thousandths apart, and the top five were separated by 61 thousandths. The circuit was built in 1922 and was just the third permanent autodrome in the world. The first F1 race was back in 1950, and it was actually an Italian, Giuseppe Farina, in the Alfa Romeo that actually won that race. My name is Jess and I'll be your commentator for tonight's race as per usual, and with 8 rounds to go of the season, anything can happen. So before we head to qualifying, let's have a look at the track. So Monza is 5.7 kilometers long with 11 turns, 4 to the left and 7 to the right, with 2 DRS zones for overtaking, 1 for the parabolica to the start finish straight and 1 just before Ascari. We've seen some intense battles in those corners in many in the PS4 tier tonight, so I'm sure we're going to probably see the same here today. So without further ado, let's go straight into the qualifying session, if it will let me, of course. There we go. We are in qualifying, which is good news, and we've got a brand new year for AOR and some new drivers as well. And as you can see, we've got a much improved turnout compared to previous weeks, and I'd like to say thanks to the coordinators for sorting this out. Now, track, I would say lap time wise would have to be around about in the 118s. We've seen 117s in PS4 tonight, but I doubt we're going to see that in Xbox, but we'll have to wait and see, of course. So I'm just looking at the drivers that we have got on offer here tonight. So we've got 3 drivers that have been moved up from tier 2 to tier 1 just to help with the numbers a little bit. So we've got let's just find someone actually that's on our laps. We've got Ruben VS, who is from tier 2. He's going to be in the Alfa Romeo for the rest of the season. We have Diagro, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. He is in the Renault for the rest of the season, and we've got the main man who's in charge of all the Xbox side of AOI's Jamie. He's moved from tier 2 to tier 1, and he's got a lot of pressure tonight because he is in the Ferrari, and that is a track where the Tifosi in particular want the Ferrari to do well. We've got quite a few invalidations already, and we got quite a few reserves as well. We got Cesala, who is making a comeback after a couple of races off, and we got Callum G as well, who is back. So it's just nice to see a variety of drivers on the grid. So Humperdinck, this driver here, is currently your championship leader, but not quite a lot though in the championship. Looking at the gap, he is got a 4-point gap to his nearest rival, Lefted, in the Red Bull. And we've got Bobbert in third with 175 points. So the top 3 pretty close because Lefted got a win just before Christmas. If you were watching the Belgium Grand Prix, which was not a bad race actually, it was pretty good. And we saw Tom take second and Bobbert in third. So Tom therefore gets 4th in the standings. We've got Jonah in 5th place in the standings. We've got Squishy Panda, she's in 6th. She's in the pits right now. She has invalidated her lap time. We got Hawk in 7th. We've got one of the Ferrari, I think Cesala is in 8th. I'm not entirely sure if that's him, but I'll double check. Actually, no, it may not be him. It's someone else, but it was someone who wasn't a Ferrari in 8th. LGS 9th, Alfio in 10th. Steiger 11th, Amaze 12th, Jam Pancakes 13th, GC 14th, John 15th, and Monty in 16th. So that is your championship standings. I'm trying to find someone that's on a lap. And let's go on board with our current pole sitter. Now, I did say we could get into the 118s, 117s. We're already in that ballpark, but I have been speaking to a few of the drivers from the Xbox side, and a few people have admitted to me that getting into the 117s is going to be a lot harder than previously thought, but we'll see right now. Now, slipstreaming is not banned in this AOR League. It is allowed. There wasn't an agreement, to be honest, on what would happen, so I'm guessing they are allowed to give the toe. So watch out for some of the teammates, I think, tonight will probably use that to advantage. I would say the teams that will probably take advantage of that would definitely be the Mercedes, Humperdinck and Amaze. They work very well together, and I won't be surprised if we see each other give the toe as well. As Cesaro has been disqualified from the session. I think he just rejoined the session because he got disconnected, and his AI might have taken over in just the wrong place. So we'll see. So let's go on board with the pole man himself. Hawker, we got another driver, so we're now up to 18 drivers, which is good. So we're now going into the Variante de Rotario, heading towards turn 1 and 2, going to that left apex nicely and very well indeed, as we're now heading towards the Curva Grande, heading towards turn 3. You're going to be heading up to top speeds at around about 200 miles per hour, and probably 205 miles per hour as you head towards turn 4. Brake just before the 100 meter board. He's looking good at the moment. Purple in sector 1, and that's not how you take that corner. And unfortunately, the curse continues with me commentating on a lap, and unfortunately, it turns to be invalidated. So let's follow on board with, let's go on board with Tom, actually. And just to point out, with Tom, he recently was signed to VRT, so massive congratulations to him as well. Brand new team for him for a new year, so well done to him. And to be honest, he has proven himself that he deserves to be in the team, which is growing to be an actually strong team as well. They recently hired some really good drivers on each, well, basically Xbox and PS4, so it'll be interesting to see how Tom does in his new outfit in the Racing Point. He is hoping for a winner tonight. It's one of his strongest tracks. So he's just going through a Scari now. There's a few cars moved out of the way. That's Cesaro that's still disqualified after being parked from a dangerous location. So he'll be starting from the back of the grid. I do believe GC will be starting at the back as well. So Tom comes across the line, and it is going to be a P3 for him, 118.4. That's pretty good. The top 3 is close. It's separated by just about a tenth of a second, with the top 2 separated just by 5/100 of a second. Squishy Panda is also about to finish her lap time, and what lap time will she do? It is a 1:19. I was losing track of what lap time it was. 1:19.0 for her, and just at the cut-off point between P10 and P11. So should be interesting there. Get your thoughts in the chat on who you think is going to be getting pole position. Right now, there's quite more people on their lap times at the moment. Now, a few people were saying in the chat that they weren't liking the tracks coming up next, which was Singapore and Russia. So, for some of these guys, they really need to do well out here if they want to get a good start. So, Humperdinck, he is our championship leader. He's going through the second Lesmo as well. Bobbich just about moves out the way for him, which is, I think, which was I've got to say, very, very close indeed, as he goes through to the fastest guy to the left, right, and then to another left hit. Very easy to one ride and invalidate, and sometimes lose the car out of there as well. I've done this many times in many races around Monza on this game, and as you can see, he's trying to potentially get a little bit of a toe from his teammate, as you can see his teammate has just gone past there and into the pit lane. So Humperdinck comes across the line now, and that puts him in P4. So again, not a bad lap from him. And Lifted just goes on pole position with a 1:18.1. Now, unfortunately, the times don't pop up on the bottom of my screen. Very, very annoying. So I'll have to keep an eye on to the left of the tower just a little bit, just so I can see the pole time. But Lifted, pretty good. He's so I think he wants to get another win to chase to his championship rivals, because the gap between the top 3 is pretty close. But, you know, he is more concentrating on the race, I would say, but again, wants to get good qualifying. He has invalidated his lap, but luckily that was just his in-lap, I believe, as well. Hawk's about to start his next lap. Who else is on a lap that could potentially follow? I think Hawk is the only one on a lap. Actually, no, Bobbers is as well, who is currently third, I believe, or second in the championship. Yeah, he is second in the championship, I think. No, he's third in the championship after Lefted getting the win last week. Lefted actually got 2 wins in a row. So Bobbers has got a lot to live up to because his last win in this league was in China. He got a P3 in Belgium and he got a P2 in Silverstone. Can he catch up to the top guys? This is very, very important. And that was a very good lap from him. It's a 1:18.1 for him. And luckily, GC has joined the session as well, which is good news. But unfortunately, he has invalidated his lap time. So, yeah, he doesn't have long to get back into the pit. So hopefully, he should have time for like 1 or 2 more laps. Almost certainly 1 more lap. But again, we'll have to wait and see, of course. Don't forget, you can check out the F2 League, which is happening on PC. So if you want to check that out, they're also streaming their qualifying and race as well. No indication as to what the weather is going to be. I usually like to have a little bit of a surprise to myself because I used to ask the drivers when I was commentating in the past, and there we go. Hawk just set the fastest lap time with a 1:18.073, which is pretty good as well. Everyone is getting on the softs pretty nice and early, and with the soft tyres on this game, whether you're on the balance or the harder, it doesn't matter which option you go for. In qualifying, it only gives you 3 sets of softs during the qualifying session. But some people may opt for the softer option, but it depends if they're comfortable when they head towards turn 1, because turn 1 can be prone to a lot of incidents. So for me, when I race around it, I usually like to go for the balance because I'm a person that doesn't, well, always tends to get caught up in incidents. So, you know, we'll have to wait and see, of course. So, Hawk, though, is going to go back in. Lefted has just come out as well. GC is on another lap. So, GC just going through, I think it's the first Lesmo now. Moving to the right a little bit and now to the left. He's got to move a bit more to the right, I would say. That is much more perfect than the first Lesmo, I've got to say. So I think his second sector would be a little bit better. But it is hard to tell as he goes through the next DRS point at the moment how well he's going to go. He's the only driver yet to set a lap time for now. As a lot of these drivers are getting a little bit slidey heading through Ascari, and I think it's due to the understeery setups that these drivers are facing at the moment. So GC is going to go through the Parabolica now. Some people tend to get a little bit of understeer there, to be honest. I do as well when I play this game. So GC comes across the line and it's a 1:19.3, which puts him in 16th place. So he's not last anymore at the ones to set a lap time. So Lefted now, he's saying purple set to 1. Anyone else on a lap as well that could go faster? Maybe Daegu as well, who has unfortunately invalidated. And Maze is just going past Cova Grande and now going to be heading into turn 4 very, very soon. He's got the Haas car not too far behind as well. So it's going to be probably very, very hard to move out the way. And most of this lap could actually be taken full throttle, actually 70% of the lap. So, you know, that's why I think some people like this track, and that's why I like driving the track very much, because there's not many slow corners, and I hate slow corners on this game, so that's probably why. So, what's Lefted going to do? As Lefted is also invalidated, so you'll probably have to slow down, or maybe saving a little bit more just for his final lap, potentially as well. Look at those train of cars that are coming out. It reminds me of Monza 2020. I think Q1, where there was a lot of cars that were queued up, and also Monza 2019 as well, where majority of people did not get their final laps in. Let's hope we don't see a repeat of that. Now, how the Ferraris are doing at the moment, Jonah, actually technically Alfa Romeo is an Italian team, and they're in a P6 right now, which is pretty good at the moment. But the Ferraris are not doing too good with Jamie in 10th and Cesaro, the other Ferrari, being disqualified. So they got a lot of catching up to do, I must say. It is heading towards the calm before the storm at this moment in time. And Ruben then, let's see what he could do as he heads towards Ascari. One of the Tier 2 drivers that came up to Tier 1. Probably one of the drivers that has less pressure than the ones that are still in Tier 1. Because he can have a little bit of fun during the last 8 races. But you never know, he can climb up some places in the championship and take advantage of the people who have not scored as many points this season. As Lefty gets on pole position with a 117.9. He said to me, now I'm not going to get into the 117s tonight. No, there's no way. And you just did it, my friend. You just did it. So probably he was using a bit of reverse psychology there to try and get a lap in at the moment in time. But Bobbitt is just about to start his lap as well. I wonder if he will go any faster as well. With 30 seconds remaining, there's quite a few people that may not get their laps in. But we'll see as one Haas moves out of the way as Diagro has retired from the session. I think he's retired in the pit lane, I believe, or he might have binned it somewhere. I'm not entirely sure. But he probably has retired from the pit lane. Now we've got Boris Letterbox, who's also here as well, who I haven't seen much of. I think he's one of the new drivers in this tier as well, so good to have him here. And he's currently sitting in 14th position right now, but if he finds a few tenths, you'll put him in the top 10. And some people, the alternate strategy, I think it could work. Sometimes it could work, sometimes it could not. So that's why I think a lot of people are pushing on their lap times right now. So we're just waiting for the final few drivers to set their lap times. As we got Hawk, who has invalidated, so he can't improve, but his teammate is on a lap. Squishy Panda is just across the line, and she can only manage P16 at the moment. What about, I think it's one of the Alfa Romeos, that is Jonah, who's coming across the line. What can it be for him? It is P8 for the Italian team. And then we've got an AlphaTauri of Ruben. No, Ruben goes in to the pit lane. I don't know what happened there to my phone there. My phone was just absolutely showing stuff. But anyway, we got Tom, who is invalidated as well, so he can't improve. Ruben stays in 4th position. Jago is slowing down, and Jamie hasn't improved at all. So yeah, that is it then for qualifying. And it is Lefted, who won the last race before Christmas, is on pole position with Hawk in P2, Bobbitt in 3rd, Ruben 4th, and Callum G with a good, impressive form as reserve driver in 5th position. So I wonder how it's going to be for the race then. The championship leader has got a lot of work to do because both of his championship rivals are ahead of him. So I wonder if that's going to bring some fire in him to do a lot better. We will have to find out as the session progresses. So here we go then. Let me go through your qualifying results. So Lefted is on pole position with Hawk in 2nd, Bobbitt in 3rd, Ruben in 4th position, Callum G, the Scotsman, in 5th position, Humperdinck in 6th, LGS 7th, Jonah in 8th, Tom in 9th, and Alex Dagu in 10th. And then the ones outside the top 10 will be on free choice of tyres, which is Jamie, Alfio, Diagro, Amaze, Boris, Squishy Panda, GC, and Zala. And it's the first time in a while where I actually have to scroll down. And Jamie, in our Twitter chat that we have, is quite surprised and is really happy that he's in the top 11. So, well done to Jamie on that one, as we're about to go into the race then. Now, any predictions in the chat as to what the weather is going to be like in the race? I have no clue. And it's quite overcast at the moment, so it suggests two things. It might be that it may turn wet later on, but knowing Cody's on this game, it may start overcast and it may go to a nice and sunny day towards the middle and end of this race, knowing them. So we'll have to wait and see, of course. So, waiting for the drivers to ready up. And we didn't talk much about the strategy because the tyre deck is not too bad around here as well. So, it is going to be soft to mediums or mediums to soft. Even though it's the second lot of tyres, highest lot of tyres that Pirelli are bringing this weekend, the softs can last about 13 laps around here. The pit window for softs to mediums, laps 8 to 11. And mediums, lap 14 to 17 if you want to do the alternate strategy, which I think that's what everyone outside the top 10 will be doing. And hards, if they want to do softer hards, maybe lap 6 to 8 potentially as well. And someone has done a boo-boo and forgotten to turn formation lap off. So we are underway then here in Monza already, and it's a good start actually from both Legend and Hawk. I think a lot of these drivers are going to get caught out, and I think we got a desync for some of the drivers. I wonder how turn 1 is going to be at the moment. I think turn 1 is not too bad. It could have been worse, so I'm guessing the drivers were a little bit more cautious because they forgot that they had the formation lap blip. I'm not sure, or it might have been a glitch where formation lap was turned on, but Cody's decided to turn it off for some weird reason. So Lefted is on pole position, well, is leading this race at the moment, but Bobbert is looking very, very feisty on Callum G at the moment, just going in to the second Lesmo at this moment in time, and he's using his overtake quite quickly as well. I'm just going to get the tyres up as well, and everybody, well actually, LGS Jamie and Alfio is on the soft tyres, whereas everybody else outside the top 10 is on the medium compounded tyres, so they'll be on some fresh load at the moment. So we'll have to find out at the moment. Dagu's had a very good start as well, but he's under pressure from Shazoo. Humperdinck unfortunately has dropped position from the start, as I think there's been a lobby issue at the moment, as I've been suffering maybe a bit of lag. Hopefully it sorts itself out, as you can see Humperdinck going side by side with Alex Dagu heading towards turn 1. Can he keep to the inside line, which he does? And Humperdinck maintains position. Meanwhile, we've got LGS, who takes P10 away off Amaze, but Amaze is going to try and get the cut back and go side by side there, going into turn 2. And now heading towards Curva Grande. I think Amaze is going to keep on to the right-hand side there of your screen, which he does nicely at this moment in time. So he stays P10. And we got Tom there, who's trying to chase down one of the tier 2 guys who's been promoted, Ruben, right now as well. We got, I think, a DRS train merging already, which is very, very interesting to see. And as you can see, you got the predicted pit stop strategy, which has just come up on your screen. And unfortunately, I've seemed to be having stream issues. Hopefully the stream sorts itself out very, very soon. But I'll try and commentate as much as I can, as Bobbert has had a good start as well, stays in 4th, but he's got, again, he's still under pressure from Callum G, so he's got a lot of work to do on that front, as on lap 3 at the moment, set to 3 yellow flag. That might be Cesala, unfortunately, that's had a little bit of a spin there, heading towards Parabolica. So, yeah, I think Cesala's day has gone from bad to worse here in AOR Monza, unfortunately. But hopefully he can improve on his results later on in this race. Now, left in and Hawk, the battle is raging on at this moment in time. The gap now is around about a second. It's getting quite dark at the moment, but there might be a little bit of sun peeping up. So you never know. You never know what could happen here. We have seen a few issues at this moment in time, but with the weather at least. So we'll find out as well. Now, I think a few people, due to the DRS train, they can't get past, which I think can make it tricky. And if I was them, I wouldn't be stuck in this DRS train. It's just quite unfortunate that they are. And, you know, it just doesn't promote that much overtaking, but it only works if you're not in a DRS train. Like Humperdinck, for example, is not in DRS, whereas Alex Dagu is in DRS. So, you know, he probably has the most advantage out of everybody compared to his rivals, of course. And I'm just going to turn down the bit rate just for a second. So just give me a moment as I stop the stream just for a second, just so I can carry on with the stream. It looks like someone has decided to use my internet at the same time, which is a bit of a shame right now, but we've got quite a few people on the millions. GC unfortunately had to pit due to his damage that he sustained earlier on in this race. So he's going to try and find it. He's going to find it difficult, I think, trying to climb his way through the field. I've got to say, I would find it difficult if I was them. So he's already going to potentially be a lap down when he heads towards the final third of this race then. So I imagine things are going to probably go from bad to worse for the driver. The one that's closer on Callum G is Bobbers once again as he makes it his way through turn one. Let's see how we can handle this battle at this moment in time. And a bit of a lock-up from, I would say, both of these drivers. But they seem to be handling it nicely and nicely well indeed. And as my English, unfortunately, does not go well, as Ruben actually gets past Thomas. Ruben is up into P8. And I'm trying to sort out my internet issues. I'm going to do something quickly. So we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for the technical delay. Unfortunately, the Wi-Fi was having a little bit of an issue, so I had to switch over to the Ethernet. It seems to be working okay so far, which is good news. And we're on lap 6 out of 27. And quite a lot of things have happened already in this race so far. So I do apologise that you missed all of that. I may clip it and put it on my channel for future reference, just to give you a little bit of an idea. But the main story so far is Lifted has got a time penalty, 6 seconds actually, as well. So he's going to be probably the one that has the most to lose at this stage, because he has got quite a gap to pull if he wants to maintain this victory here today. And we've got Hawk in second position with Callum G in third place. And let me just look at the gains so far in this race. So we've had Callum G that gained 2 positions. Humperdinck has gained 1. Alex Dagu has gained 4 positions. Jonah has gained 1. Amaze has gained 4. And Squishy Panda, she's also had a very good start as well. So she is up a few positions as well. So interesting to see how that goes. So we've got yellow flag in set to 3. So that might be GC spinning again, but I'm not entirely sure what has happened there. It's probably, I would say, Parabolica, because like I said, quite a few people could get caught up in the Parabolica straight. But anyway, yellow flag set to 1, and it's Alfio that's went in and to the Ronald area into turn 1, and unfortunately, I think he's got a 3-second time penalty to match that, which unfortunately is a bit of a shame right now. So he has got, again, a lot of making up to do, and I would say Monza is a track where if they can pick up penalties, and it is a bit of an issue, and if they do pick up penalties, the ones that stay clean can be rewarded here at the moment, as we got Callum G then on the back of Bobbers once again, and Bobbers got past Callum G whilst I was sorting out my internet issues. So let us know in the chat if you can hear me loud and clear. As Callum G, I think had a little bit of a warning there. So he's probably a few warnings off of, I think, getting a time penalty. A bit of a lock-up again from the Racing Point driver. And I've got to say, Jamie is keeping consistent at the moment in the Ferrari, staying 11th position. That was where he qualified in qualifying, of course. And for those of you that did miss the start, the formation lap was turned off. Was accidentally turned off. So it was a very interesting start. And somehow everyone kept it clean. So not much damage at the moment. But Jamie's looking like he's going to get past Amaze or LGS. It's a nice train forming. At the moment, 3 of these guys were in Tier 2 together when I actually first started commentating back in season 15 and 16. So definitely does bring back a lot of memories with those 3 in a train together, in a nice battle together. And speaking of battles, we've got Bobbers who's got another time penalty that will allow Callum G to gain more positions as well. Maybe he'll probably change his mindset coming into the latter half of this race in terms of that, or would he realise that getting a penalty won't be too bad for him? But he knows he's got Humperdinck behind him, who also does not have a penalty, so he's got to afford to not get penalties. If he gets penalties, does Callum G, that could smell trouble as well. And as it stands at this moment, Bobbers, I think, could jump lefted in. Actually, no, they are. Bobbers, I think, has got 3 seconds, I think, of penalties. Let me have a look. Yes, Bobbers got 3 seconds, left is on 6. So, Bobbers, I believe, would jump lefted in the championship. But only by a little bit, though. Only by, I would say, the smallest of margins. And we got some penalties at the back with Tom getting 8 seconds. He's dropped quite a bit, actually. So, Tom has pitted for the medium. So, I'm guessing he's going for the undercut strategy. That was a bit early than I thought to go on to the mediums. I thought they would... actually, no. It is what I would thought it was going to be. They would... He pitted at the end of lap 7. So, that was the undercut. Mediums can last 17 laps. So, it is a bit of a gamble for him. But it may see the likes of Lefted... Hawk potentially go into the pits, but I'm guessing they're not Tom's biggest threats during the race right now. So that's probably why they're not responding to that. And oh, Callum G, that is not what he wanted. Callum G has got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That has gone disastrous for him. And he's going to drop way down the order. And that's going to give his teammate, Tom, a little bit of breathing space right now. And he's just going to come out behind Zizala. Or actually in front of... Yeah, behind Zizala, actually. Who has Zizala's hanging about with Bobbers, who's also pitted as well. So if I were left at all, I would pit now. If I were the soft runners, I would pit now. Because I would say the undercut is probably the most powerful around here in Monza. I usually find it powerful here as well. I stayed quite a few times in a few races, a lot longer than I thought I was going to be, and it did not help my race whatsoever. And the track is starting to cool a little bit, so it's going to be really hard for those medium runners, and that's probably why those soft runners are staying out a bit longer, because the mediums, I find it hard to race on in an overcast track. But here goes Lefted and Hawk as they both go in to the pit lane, and they just slow down just in time as GT gets a time penalty. Unfortunately, Zizala has retired, and that was through, I would say, a Sky. Oh, that is quite a common place to bid it on the right-hand side. I think he just put a little bit too much power, went on the throttle too early there, and now just compromised his run a little bit. So that means Squishy Panda is your leader on the track, but your net race leader will have to find out, as Lefted is your race leader, your net race leader, with Bobbert in second. So Bobbert, having a very good undercut, has jumped Hawk. So I wonder what happened to Hawk, because he couldn't have got held up in the pit stops. He probably, I think, might have just got some damage, maybe picked some damage, maybe, or maybe he got held up by the cars in front going into the pits. I don't have a clue. So it might be just Roberts being so quick on his in-lap. And to be fair, that's very impressive from him. And that would allow Roberts to take the win if it stands like this, as Zala has left the session, and that is to be expected for him. He's not had the comeback of dreams that he would have hoped. So all the Tifosi's hopes right now is resting on Jamie, and he is down in 14th position, but he'll gain a few positions once Squishy Panda, Boris, Amazed and Diagro go into the pit lane, as Jamie picks up another 3-second time penalty. I think that's his second penalty. Nope, it's first. So he kept it clean until then. It's Alfio, the last of the soft runners, that goes into the pit lane as well. Callum didn't take as much advantage as Bobbers did, due to the fact that Callum G had a 5-second stock go penalty. As we have two cars going side by side, is LGS and Jamie on the same strategy. Now, Jamie was one of the few people outside the top 10 to start on those soft tyres. So that is probably why majority of people have not gone for the mediums to start with, because it's not as OP as some tracks. I think the track where the ultimate strategy is OP is around, I would say, China, like I said earlier on. LGS looking to score some points. LGS was looking good at the start of the season. He actually took a win in Australia. Has not won or taken a podium since Monaco. Now, in Monaco, he was very, very lucky. There was a few incidents in Monaco. There was only a few people in Monaco, so he took huge advantage there as well. And he's one of those drivers that also likes to keep it clean. So if he could keep this clean throughout the rest of this race, he could jump quite a few positions, and he's probably going to be hoping for a safety car to appear out of nowhere. And I'm surprised that there has been no safety car, as Boris Box is having a battle for position. I know it may not be for the net lead of this race, but it's for the lead on track anyway. So it's nice to follow that battle indeed. Squishy Panda is not used to the lead of this race, so she must be in a lot of pressure. But Boris Box is going to the left-hand side of turn 4, goes into that left apex and in and to the right. Nails it perfectly, and Boris takes the lead of this race. As Squishy Panda trying to get some heat into her tyres. And I wonder if that pressure is starting to get into her head a little bit, maybe. As we've also got Amazed in 3rd position, who is also chasing her down as well. And the more that these three chase each other down, the more that the likes of Diagro could catch up a little bit more. Potentially, he can score his first point of the season, which will be amazing. The highest point scorer of the Tier 2 guys that have moved up. We do have a yellow flag, but I'm guessing it may just be people moving out of the way, or maybe people going a little bit squirmy around Ascari, which I've seen a lot of people do that tonight. Here comes Hawk then, who can be the one to take the win if he stays clear of Bobbert and Lefted. Hawk has had quite a few wins in AOR Tier 1 and is looking to add to that. He has had 3 wins this season. The only other driver to get 3 wins this season is Bobbert, who is 3rd in the championship and is currently a net P2 in the standings. So, you know, Hawk could be the first person to get the most wins, get 4 wins this season. And we've seen quite a lot of different winners. We had Jonah that took the win in Baku as well. And with true Cody's fashion, it is starting to brightening up. So the threat of rain that was promised in this race is not going to happen. So for the medium runners, they can definitely, I would say, breathe a sigh of relief, because they can start to, I would say, gain a bit more time and probably start to set more fastest laps. And that means we can have some more battles on our hands. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing how that develops later on in this race. Meanwhile, Bobbers and Lefty going side by side into Parabolica of all places. Can Bobbers take advantage of Lefty? No, he cannot, but he's getting a better run. Heading into turn 1. Hawk may be advised to stay behind these lot as well, or take advantage of either of these guys and make a mistake. It looks like it could be 3 wide at the moment. Lefty gets to the inside. It's going to be ever so close between these two, heading towards the Curva Grande right now into turn 3. Lefty defends quite nicely there, as we're on lap 15. We're already halfway into this race, and I'm starting to have a few internet issues again. So again, I do apologise about that. Hopefully it will get fixed for next week, as Bobbert, I think I would say, is the one that is benefiting from the increased tyre, increased track temperature and air temperature at this moment in time. And you can see Diagro probably might be forced to let these drivers through. He's got Amazed, who also could potentially be in a battle as well. Lefty, if I was Lefty, I would probably be just a little bit worried trying to get past these lot. But Lefty, I would say, is looking from the way that he is driving at the moment. He's taking it very, very calm and keeping a cool head. Quite a few of these drivers are in the Challenger Series, so they have suffered much more difficult situations than this, as we can see Amaze trying to go around the inside of Diagro as well. Lefty trying to take advantage as well. Oh, as Lefty's gone off. Lefty has gone off. He took a lot of risks too soon as Diagro. Oh my God, how did Lefty avoid that? And are we going to see a safety car? We do see a VSC. Okay, I thought we would have seen a safety car, but I don't have a clue there. So that will allow a few people to catch up just a little bit more. And yeah, I mean, I wonder what, I think Lefty was maybe a little bit too greedy. Maybe he could have just waited until, like I would say, turn 4 to potentially get the move done, but he's all the way down in 8th position now and net P5. So Bobbert is in the lead now, and that's not going to help his championship hopes at all. But again, after this one, we will have 7 more races still to go of this championship, so anything can happen. But you can't have a race where it just goes to spot like that. You can't have too many races, I must say. But anyway, we've got Callum G has also going to try and get past Hawk. Hawk defending it very well, and DRS is enabled, so the virtual safety car has come in, which means time for more battling here at the moment. So Boris goes on to a self-soft. Now watch out for Boris, as he's going to come through the field. And watch out that he's going to be, I think, a few, I would say about 6 tenths quicker, I would say. The delta is around about 9 tenths, not 6 tenths, get my facts right. But he'll probably increase a bit once those mediums start to die a little bit. Now you can see Callum G, he wants this podium badly. He's got penalties though, so he must be, I think, a bit worried, but he knows that his main threats are Hawk and Bobbert in this race, and if he gets past them, he needs to stay clear around about 3 seconds. Same for Bobbert as well. Unfortunately, due to the way that Hawk and Callum G are catching up to Bobbert can't get that gap. But here comes Bobbert trying to get past Amaze. And I think Amaze lets Bobbert through. So Bobbert is in the lead of this race at the moment. Now I wonder if Amaze is going to be doing exactly the same to Hawk. Probably not. And as you can see, Amaze is trying to block Hawk's every move. So it's going to be a very tricky turn 1. Callum G is just waiting in the wings, so let's go on board with him. Hawk's going to go to the inside. There he goes, nicely done from him, no trouble at all. So now Hawk's job is to try and keep up to the pace of SSR Bobbert. So only time will tell here at this moment for the Williams driver. Could he get a 4th win, or could Bobbert get a 4th win? if he can increase the gap a little bit. However, they're so even on pace, you know, only time will tell. Let us know your predictions in this chat about what could happen with these drivers. And you're starting to see the fastest lap at the moment. Let me just have a look. The fastest lap is 1:21.4, and that's set by PSR lefted. But again, he's got 6 seconds worth of penalties as Callum G is spun. He was having a bout with a maze in the Ascari, and unfortunately, I think he went to the inside. And when you go to the inside of a Ascari, the move just unfortunately never seems to work out for him there. So that is a position lost for Callum G, but Lefty's got more penalties. So Callum G could still salvage a point in this race, as a 1:28.7 was his lap, so he did lose quite a chunk of time at the moment. So let's go back to the Delta then, as Humperdinck has lost it. Humperdinck has lost it in turn 1. I wonder if it was his own teammate that caused that, or if it was him that spun by himself. I wonder if there was damage to his front wing there. I don't know. It was impossible to tell. But here we go. We got Jonah going side by side. And you can tell the tyres are overheating for Humperdinck. Here comes Callum G, and the Maze has spun as well. So the Mercedes day has gone from good to bad to worse at the moment, which is a shame. And that will allow LGS to score some points, and he was hoping for some points. And LGS is getting a better run here into Ascari. Here he comes, just past the DRS range, into that left apex, into the right, and then into the left again. Nicely controlled does the McLaren driver. I have to say, I think LGS could gain more positions here, but we're going to stay on board with the battle for the lead then. Hawk may not need to do this, but due to the fact that there's a lot of people catching him behind, it was a very clean move from Hawk as he takes the lead of this race. And I wonder if there's going to be a ding-dong battle between them. I wonder if Bobbers wanted to be in DRS range. That's probably why he wanted to be behind. And now there's a few questions that the drivers would probably be asking themselves, as Hawk just got a 3-second time penalty as well. So pretty much the top 4 all even on penalties except Lefty, who's on 6. So Degaro has left the session because he has retired due to the incident that we did see earlier on in this race, unfortunately, which did cost him a bit of time. And all these guys are on the mediums. They can get to the end, but Boris is looking quick on Ruben. He's finding a few attempts per lap. It was about 6 seconds. Now it's a 4.7. But he's got Jamie on the medium, so he's looking a bit quicker. And Squishy Panda, who is very keen to get past. She wants to get her first point in absolutely ages. Let's see how she manages it at the moment. So let's keep an eye on penalties for now. The only people not to get penalties is Daegu, Jonah, and LGS. So Daegu could get potentially a podium. Callum G getting an 8-second time penalty. I believe the one that he got was a 5 second. So he got a 5 second and a 3 second. So here comes Squishy Panda with a move into turn 1. And there she goes into P10 and into the point. And it is actually for position because Jamie, Squishy Panda, Boris, Ruben and Humperdinck are all on 3 seconds worth of penalties. So there we go then. And she's also looking fine to potentially get past Boris as well on a similar tyres. To be honest, Squishy Panda, she's absolutely flying on those soft compounder tyres. She's absolutely loving it right now. And I think the ones out of the ones who are being premiered from tier 2 to tier 1, looks like Ruben is doing the best out of every one of those tonight. And Boris has just picked up another 3-second time penalty. That moved him up, down, well, Well, down a few places because he's got 6 seconds. And we do have a yellow flag, unfortunately, set to 3. That is one of the Alfa Romeos. And we've got Daegu as well on Callum. Alex Daegu looking very, very racy indeed. He's using quite a lot of VRS, though, compared to Callum. Callum has got around about 48% to use. So I would say Callum G has got the most to gain from this situation. But Alex Daegu, I think, is a little bit more consistent in terms of pace. Alex Daegu, the leading driver, who is not on penalties. So as it stands, Hawk would win this race, and Daegu could be on course to be getting his first podium of the season. So this is technically a battle for the podium, as it stands. Which I would say is very impressive for him. His best result of the... Actually, no, he's actually got 2 podiums. He's got 1 podium in Australia, 1 podium in Monaco. So he got 2 podiums. So boy was I wrong, but he could be still be on for his best result, because he could be on course for maybe a P2. I don't know. It's hard to tell with maths here, ladies and gentlemen. But here you can see then, Alex Daegu, I don't think he's just, again, a little bit too further back to do anything about it on Callum G. And I think Alex Daegu doesn't need to do anything about it. Meanwhile, oh, it's going to be side-by-side action heading into turn 1. Humperdinck just has the edges on Ruben. Nice control from Humperdinck. There we go. Ruben though is going to say, hey, you know what? You're not getting that position. I want to get that position back, man. So he's trying his absolute hardest to have the upper hand right now. So move to the right he goes. Again, he's running out of verbs as well. And a lot of people's ERS management, I would say, is heading towards the bitter end right now. So all it comes down to really is pure skill. As Tom has retired, could this be a safety car? Could we see a safety car in our midst? We'll have to wait and see. Where did he retire? Did he retire? Oh, he retired in the pit lane. I'm guessing he did not have a good race whatsoever. And Bobbers has picked another 3-second time penalty, which puts him to 9 seconds. That will allow Lefted to, I think, overtake him. So Lefted, I would say, could salvage P4, P3 out of this, which could be still good, as he could be still ahead of his championship rivals. So penalties is definitely going to decide this race, because only 2 drivers have not got penalties. And LGS has got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And Callum G has lost a bit of time there. He's lost a bit of time to Alex Daegu. This could be Alex Daegu's moment. Or is he taking it a little bit too safe? If I was him, yeah. If I was him, I would avoid trying to get involved in other people's battles and try and keep between him and Alex. Him and Callum, sorry. And that will be a podium well earned for him. I would say a lot of these drivers have kept it clean, I've got to say. So a massive well done to them. As we're heading to the crunch time now, this race we're almost starting lap 25 as Hawk leads from SR Bobbert in second. Left it in third. So we're going to look at the intervals then for penalties. That is going to be the crucial factor here. So, you know, anything can happen right now. And due to Callum G's 8 seconds, Bobbers could just about get away with getting third. You never know. You never know. And I did just see someone else get another time penalty. Meanwhile, we got Humperdinck and Jonah. Jonah going in to try to go for the inside. We've got Bryce going to have his piece of the action as well as Humperdinck has spun. 3 wide into turn 1 does definitely not mix. As here we go then, Squishy Panda could be the one to capitalise on this situation. Squishy Panda to the right. A little bit late on the brakes, I've got to say. From one of them, I've got to say, is Squishy Panda just gets P7. And don't forget, Squishy Panda is on those soft compound tyres. So here comes Squishy Panda once again. And due to the Delta is definitely to the advantage of Squishy Panda right now compared to Jonah. So Squishy Panda is in 6th position, but it is not over. Jonah and Ruben are still on the battle. Ruben is, I would say, trying to get rid of that deficit as much as he possibly can. But he's got boys chasing him who's also on the softs. That was close from Ruben. I think Ruben kept his line, which I think he had to do in this situation. Here comes Ruben on Boris then. And GCCI is just pitted actually. He's free stop, or it might have been lapped. I think the Renault had to cover the brakes just a little bit to avoid any incidents or any trouble. So Ruben stays in 8th. He is probably being very tense at the moment. It kind of reminds me of Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen in Monaco, where Lewis Hamilton still managed to get those medium tyres to last quite a fortune, as LGS sets the fastest lap of the race with a 1:20.0. You could see a bit higher from Boris maybe, or Squishy Panda, as we're on the penultimate lap as Alex Daegu. I would be a bit worried if I was Alex Daegu, as Squishy Panda is catching up by a few seconds, but there's only 1.5 laps to go, so maybe that's why he's not worried too much about where he is on track. He's on the fresher tyres, don't forget, to Callum G. And some of the penalties will not get removed due to the fact that there are corner cutting warnings. So let's see what Alex Daegu can do. I'm trying to see the battle emerge at the background as well. So let's see what happens. Boris then on Ruben. This could be round 3 here. Or probably round 4. So Ruben covers to the right. Boris to the left into turn 1. And I think Boris just edged it there. A really intense battle on the final lap. This could be a ding-dong battle between these two. Boris, I think, has less advantage, but there are even Stevens. Both of them are on the same amount of ERS. Boris to the right-hand side once again. He gets the job done. Up into 8th. Bobbert takes the lead this race. Hawk has unfortunately spun. And that is the win taken from his hands at the moment. Unless he can find a few seconds to take the victory due to penalties. You never know. A lot of things have happened on the final lap and I'm about to lose my voice. Alex Daegu has found a bit of time on Callum G as well. Jonah may be on Squishy Panda. You never know. But let's jump back to the front. As someone has just spun. I think that was Amazed, who was a lap down. But Bobbert comes across the line to win on track. But will he do enough to win on penalties? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. So Bobbert wins from lefted. Hawk's mistake, unfortunately, costed the win there, but still a good podium for him. Alex Daegu 4th, Jonah in 5th, Callum G in 6th, Squishy Panda with an impressive showing in 7th, Ruben in 8th, Boris in 9th, and Humperdinck in 10th. Humperdinck only scoring 1 point. And with a championship on the line, that swings, I would say, the lead into Bobbert's favour with left in 2nd. So Bobbert takes the lead of the championship with 7 rounds to go. Bobbert must be on cloud 9. He probably was not expecting the win due to the amount of penalties that he has got. And unfortunately there's a Maze doing donuts, but we are not going to follow him now. And it was actually quite a quick race right now. But it's one of the shortest in terms of time right now. And yeah, he was very... Hawk looked very... It was very, very gutting for Hawk to spin when he did. It was very, very sad. So, yeah. But anyway, here we go then. We've got the celebrations. The team down at Woking are going to be very, very impressed with Bobbitt's performance. And your drive of the day goes to Squishy Panda, and well deserved for her. Fantastic drive. She qualified quite low down on the grid, and she finished where she did in the points. Amazing there. Unfortunately, the Ferraris didn't do quite as well. No Italian team on the podium, actually. We've got a McLaren, a Red Bull, and a Williams. 3 different teams on the podium, to be fair. So we are going to get you results then, as we're going to wait for the podium celebrations to unfold. So here we go then. So let's go have a look at your results. So Bobbitt takes the win by around about 1/10 of a second over Lefted. Hawk in third. Alex Daegu in 4th position. Jonah in 5th. Callum G in 6th. What could have been for him? Squishy Panda in 7th. 16th to 7th. That is crazy performance from her. One of our best performances of the season. The alternate strategy worked, I would say, perfectly for her. Boris in 9th. And we have got Humperdinck in 10th. Jamie just missing out on the points on his Tier 1 debut. Alfio 12th. LGS 13th. VRC, GC, and Amaze a lap down. And your retirements are Tom, Diagro, and Cesala. With Ruben being the best of the ones who got promoted to Tier 1. So, a big congratulations there. And Ruben saying in the chat that he quite enjoyed that there. But anyway, that has been the Italian Grand Prix. And I've got to say, a very good race. And apologies about the technical issues that I've suffered during the race. But at least we still got a stream going, to say the least. And fair play to Alex Daegu and Jonah for not getting any penalties at all. So next week we do go to Marina Bay Circuit for the Singapore Grand Prix. And I gotta say, it's a test of endurance, I would say, next week. Because it's one of the longest races on the calendar. And a threat of rain could be on the horizon. Most races I've commentated around Singapore on this game have been in the wet, bar one. So there we go. That just proves that anything can happen around Singapore. But you'll have to find out what happens next week. I've been Jess Games 95, and make sure you check out the other streams that happened tonight, which was PS4 F1 and PC F2. But until now, I've been Jess Games 95. Have a good evening, and we will see you next week for the Singapore Grand Prix. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and goodbye.